What if I told you that the people around you could either make you stronger or quietly destroy you? Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But here's the secret. Those thoughts are shaped not only by us, but by the company we keep. Today we're diving into 7 types of people that Stoicism warns us about, and why you must learn to navigate or even avoid them if you want to live with wisdom, resilience, and virtue. We all know this person. You walk into a room and before you've even had time to breathe, the air is heavy with negativity. The weather is too hot or too cold. The job is too stressful or too boring. The food is too bland or too spicy. No matter the circumstance, a complainer always finds a way to cast a shadow. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But the complainer lives as though the opposite were true, powerless over the mind, endlessly enslaved to outside events. And here's the danger. Complaining is contagious. Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics intuited centuries ago. A Stanford study in 2016 showed that repeated exposure to negativity literally rewires the brain, making you more likely to see future events through a negative lens. In other words, spend too much time with a complainer and you risk becoming one yourself. Think of your mind as a sponge. Every sigh, every groan, every cynical remark. Your brain absorbs it, and soon you're echoing their discontent. Seneca, another Stoic master, put it bluntly, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you can improve." Picture 2 friends. One comes home after a long day, drops their bag, and immediately launches into a storm of complaints. "The boss doesn't appreciate me. The commute was awful. The coffee machine is broken again." The other friend listens, nods, and slowly feels their own energy being pulled into the abyss. Now compare this with someone else facing the same challenges, but framing them differently. "The boss was tough today, but it pushed me to sharpen my skills." Or, "Traffic was bad, but I used the time to finish an audiobook." Notice, the facts of the day don't change, but the lens through which we interpret them changes everything. The complainer poisons the atmosphere. The reframer strengthens it. So how should a Stoic respond to the complainer? The ancients, along with modern psychology, give us 3 strategies. First, limit your exposure. Just as you wouldn't sit in a smoke-filled room for hours, don't marinate in the fumes of constant complaint. Protect your mental air. Excuse yourself politely. Set boundaries. Second, create inner distance. Marcus Aurelius advises us to see problems as external, not personal. Imagine the complainer's words as storm clouds drifting across the sky. They pass over you, but they are not you. In modern psychology, this is called cognitive distancing, and it's been proven to reduce stress. Third, redirect the conversation. Instead of fueling the fire, gently shift the topic towards solutions. If someone says, "This project is impossible," respond with, "What small step could make it easier?" That single question reframes despair into action. And here's something most people don't know. Neuroscientists at Stanford discovered that complaining for just 30 minutes a day can actually damage the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for problem solving and memory. Think about that. The more you complain, the less capable you are of finding solutions. And if you're around someone who complains constantly, their brain is literally being rewired for helplessness, and they're trying to drag yours along with it. So what can you do right now? Here's a simple Stoic exercise. Tonight, take out a notebook and draw 2 columns. In column A, write down 3 things you caught yourself complaining about today. In column B, rewrite each one as a Stoic reframing. For example, "Traffic was terrible." Reframe, "Traffic gave me 20 extra minutes to practice patience." Do this for 1 week and watch how your perspective begins to shift. Complaints become opportunities. Irritations become teachers. History gives us powerful reminders too. Consider Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning. He endured unimaginable suffering, yet he wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." That is the ultimate antidote to complaining. While circumstances may be beyond your control, your attitude never is. So the next time you encounter a complainer, remember, don't inhale their smoke. Don't let their storm drown your inner calm. Instead, model a higher path. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. When we stop complaining, we reclaim power. When we stop absorbing others' complaints, we protect our peace. And when we practice reframing, we transform life's irritations into invitations for growth. Now that we've faced the danger of the complainer, we're ready to meet the next challenge, the drama magnet. Some people carry storms wherever they go. Their lives are not simply full of ups and downs. They are whirlpools of chaos. Small issues become crises. Minor disagreements turn into battles. And if you're not careful, they'll pull you straight into their turbulent waters. The Stoics warned us about this type, not because life should be without problems, but because unnecessary drama wastes the one thing more precious than gold: time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsociable, but you cannot allow them to drag you down. The drama magnet thrives on pulling you down." Modern science confirms what the Stoics knew. According to the American Institute of Stress, 80% of workplace stress isn't caused by tasks themselves, but by interpersonal drama, gossip, conflicts, and emotional manipulation. Drama hijacks your nervous system. Your heart races, cortisol spikes, and suddenly you're emotionally invested in battles that aren't even yours. Seneca reminded us, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future. But drama keeps you in a perpetual state of anxiety, never grounded, never free. Picture this. A coworker rushes to your desk, eyes wide, whispering, "Did you hear what she said about you in the meeting?" Instantly, your body tightens. You weren't even part of the argument, but now your mind is spinning with questions. What did I do? What does she think of me? That is the power of drama. It plants seeds of unrest where peace once was. Now imagine the Stoic alternative. You listen, you breathe, and you calmly reply, "If she has an issue, she can speak with me directly." Then you return to your work. No whirlpool, no wasted energy, just clarity. So how do we resist the drama magnet? Marcus Aurelius likened the mind to a citadel. Your time, your energy, your attention, these are the walls. Drama magnets seek entry, but you hold the gate. Choose carefully who you let inside. Another tool is reflective listening. When confronted by someone in chaos, acknowledge their words without diving in. Say, "I see this matters to you." That validates them, but it doesn't mean you've agreed to be pulled into their storm. And sometimes the bravest act is absence. Selective unavailability. If someone constantly seeks you for gossip, arguments, or endless emotional storms, reduce your availability. Seneca once advised, "Life is long if you know how to use it. Don't waste it fueling fires that were never yours to fight." Consider the cost. Research shows the average employee spends more than 2 hours per week dealing with workplace conflict. That's over 100 hours a year. Gone. In personal life, the toll is even greater. Relationships collapse. Goals are abandoned. Peace of mind is eroded. Drama is expensive. It steals time, drains energy, and distracts you from what matters most: virtue, wisdom, and purposeful living. Here's your Stoic challenge. For 1 week, keep a drama journal. Each time you notice drama, gossip, conflict, or chaos, write it down. Who tried to pull you in? How did it feel in your body? Was your heart racing, your focus fractured? And most importantly, did you engage or did you step back? At the end of the week, review your notes. You'll likely discover that 80% of the drama in your life comes from 20% of the people. That's the Pareto principle in action. And once you see the pattern clearly, you'll know where to set firmer boundaries. History gives us a striking example. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, surrounded by injustice and anger, refused to be drawn into endless cycles of hate and drama. Instead, he chose focus, forgiveness, and the higher ground. Drama was all around him, but he chose peace within. The drama magnet will always exist, but you decide whether to be pulled in, guard your inner fortress, listen without drowning, be brave enough to step away. Seneca's wisdom echoes across centuries. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Drama wastes life. Stoicism saves it. And once you've learned to resist the pull of drama, another challenge waits. The naysayer, the one who poisons dreams with doubt. Every journey has its obstacles, but sometimes the greatest obstacles are not storms, wars, or poverty. They are voices, quiet, persistent voices that whisper, "Are you sure? What if you fail? Maybe you're not good enough." The naysayer lives in every society, every workplace, every circle of friends. They don't just question, they crush. Their words drip with doubt, like ink spilled on a canvas. And if you're not careful, their gray brushstrokes will cover the masterpiece of your life. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them knows anything about the subject." A naysayer's voice is often loud, but rarely wise. Modern psychology shows why their influence feels so powerful. Research from the University of Chicago reveals that negative words have 3 times more impact on our mood than positive ones. It's called negativity bias. Imagine you receive 10 compliments and 1 insult. Which one lingers longer in your mind? Exactly, the insult. Naysayers weaponize this bias, whether they mean to or not. They plant seeds of doubt that grow faster than seeds of encouragement. Think about Thomas Edison. When he set out to invent the light bulb, critics told him it was impossible. After thousands of failed attempts, journalists mocked him. But Edison famously replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Now imagine if he had listened to the naysayers. The world might still be dark. The Stoic lesson here is clear. The obstacle is external, but your judgment decides whether it stops you. So how do we respond to naysayers? The Stoics offer us 3 strategies. First, discern wisdom from noise. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Not all criticism is harmful. Some holds truth. The challenge is to filter, to ask, is there wisdom here or just noise? Second, flip the script. When a naysayer says, "This will never work," calmly reply, "How would you solve it?" This turns their criticism into a challenge for them. Most naysayers fall silent when asked for solutions, because tearing down is easy, but building requires effort. And third, strengthen your inner fortress. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, if you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. Your response, not their words, defines the outcome. The cost of listening to naysayers is enormous. According to Gallup research, 67% of workers admit that fear of criticism holds them back from innovation. In personal life, it's even more tragic. Countless dreams die before they even begin, not because of failure, but because someone said, "That's unrealistic." Naysayers kill possibilities. And the greatest tragedy is not their words, but our willingness to believe them. Here's your Stoic practice. This week, write down 3 dreams or goals you've been hesitant to pursue. Next to each, list the voices you've heard. It's risky. You can't do it. What if you fail? Then next to each voice, write a Stoic counterthought. Marcus Aurelius, "If it is humanly possible, I can do it." Epictetus, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." Seneca, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult." Review this daily. Train your mind to recognize naysayers not as prophets, but as noise. History gives us another example. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, J.K. Rowling's manuscript was rejected by 12 publishers. One even told her, "Children just don't like fantasy stories anymore." Imagine if she had believed them. Millions of readers would have lost a world of imagination. The naysayers were wrong because courage triumphed. The naysayer will always be there. But remember, their doubt is not your destiny. Filter wisdom from noise. Flip their negativity into questions, strengthen your inner fortress. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Naysayers cannot stop you unless you hand them the pen. So write your own story. And as you master the naysayer's voice, prepare for the next challenge. The victim, the one who sees life as an endless injustice. We all know someone who wears suffering like a badge. To them, life is always unfair. The chessboard is rigged, the dice always loaded, the universe conspires against them. This is the victim. And while compassion urges us to comfort them, Stoicism teaches us to be cautious, because the victim's worldview is contagious. Spend too much time in their orbit, and you begin to see life through the same distorted lens. Marcus Aurelius warned, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. In other words, don't mirror the bitterness you encounter. Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics intuited. Studies show that chronic victimhood is linked to higher levels of anxiety, depression, and resentment. In fact, one study found that people with a victim mindset are twice as likely to feel powerless when solving problems. The danger is not just for them, but for you. Their helplessness can quietly drain your resolve, convincing you that effort is futile, that virtue is pointless, that injustice is inevitable. So what's the Stoic approach? First, compassion without enabling. The Stoics never preach coldness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, when you have the power to benefit someone, why put it off? Kindness is always right, but enabling endless self-pity is not. Second, boundaries protect both sides. Seneca advised, associate with those who will make a better man of you. That sometimes means stepping back. Support them, yes, but refuse to be dragged into their narrative of perpetual injustice. And third, model agency. Show by your own example that life's blows can be endured with dignity. Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. The victim may not change immediately, but your resilience plants a seed. Here's a simple practice. The next time you're listening to a victim in your life, silently remind yourself, this is their story, not mine. Offer empathy in one sentence, then pivot to agency. You might say, I hear you. What's one thing you could do about it? If they resist, don't argue. Set your boundary. Remember, you can show compassion without becoming a co-star in their tragedy. Because life is unfair. Injustice exists. But to live as though you are powerless is the greatest injustice you can do to yourself. The Stoic path is clear. Kindness, yes, but never surrender of your own agency. Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. And as we leave the victim behind, we prepare to meet the next distortion, the toxic positivist, the one who denies reality with a smile. We've all heard it before. Just stay positive. No matter the situation, on the surface it sounds encouraging. But when positivity becomes denial, it turns into something dangerous. Toxic positivity. This is the toxic positivist. The person who refuses to see suffering, injustice, or pain. They cover every crack in the wall with a smiley sticker. And while optimism has value, Stoicism reminds us that wisdom requires balance. Seneca once wrote, he suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary. But he might just as well have warned, he suffers blindly, who refuses to see suffering at all. Modern research backs this up. A 2020 study in the journal Emotion found that suppressing negative emotions doesn't make them disappear. It actually increases stress and lowers resilience. Ignoring the weeds doesn't clear the garden. It only lets them spread. The Stoics understood this long ago. Marcus Aurelius observed, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Pain, loss, and setbacks are not things to deny. They are the raw material for growth. A true Stoic does not drown in despair, but neither do they deny suffering. Instead, they embrace life as a garden with both flowers and weeds. They acknowledge reality, saying, this is hard, this hurts. Naming the truth is the first step toward mastery. They transform adversity, using obstacles as training weights for the soul, and they cultivate gratitude, not shallow good vibes only, but a deep appreciation that includes the dark, Because without shadow, light has no meaning. Here's your practice. Tonight, write down 3 challenges you face today. Next to each, ask, what is this teaching me? This simple reflection echoes Marcus Aurelius's habit of nightly journaling. Over time, you'll see that difficulties are not enemies but tutors in disguise. The toxic positivist hides from reality with a smile. The Stoic smiles because they've faced reality and mastered it. So when you encounter this type, don't be lured into shallow denial. Stand firm in truth. Embrace both joy and sorrow. And remember Seneca's words, life, if well lived, is long enough. Up next, we'll meet a far more cunning force, the manipulator, the one who tries to write your life's script for you. Imagine someone holding invisible strings to your life. They don't yell. They don't push. Instead, they pull softly with guilt, flattery, or subtle persuasion. This is the manipulator. Unlike the complainer or the drama magnet, their danger is hidden. They don't drain you with noise. They rewrite your script without you even noticing. Epictetus warned, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit. A manipulator thrives when we give away our inner freedom. Psychologists identify 3 common tactics. First, guilt tripping. After all I've done for you. Second, gaslighting, making you question your own reality. And third, love bombing, or excessive flattery to lower your guard. Studies in social psychology show that people who recognize these cues are 40% less likely to comply with unwanted demands. Awareness is the shield. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control the behavior of others, we can always control our response. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So how do we resist manipulation in a Stoic way? The first tool is called fogging. Agree with the part of their statement that is true, but refuse the emotional coercion. For example, yes, you helped me, and I'm grateful, but this decision is still mine. The second tool is detachment. Imagine yourself as an actor stepping off stage. Observe the manipulator's script instead of playing the role they've assigned to you. And the third is boundaries. Say no without apology. Every no to them is a yes to your freedom. Here's your exercise for the week. Notice one situation where someone tries to pull your strings. Pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this my genuine choice, or am I being directed? Then write down how you responded and how you could respond next time with greater strength. Because the truth is this, the manipulator seeks to control your story, but the pen belongs in your hand. Seneca once wrote, "No man is free who is a slave to his body." And we might add, no one is free who is a slave to another's hidden strings. And now, as we prepare to face the final thief of freedom, we'll meet the time vampire, the one who steals life's most precious resource, your hours. There is one resource more precious than gold, land, or power: time. And yet many people give it away, minute by minute, hour by hour, to what the Stoics would call time vampires. They aren't always malicious. Sometimes they are the overly chatty coworker, the endless meeting scheduler, the friend who just needs a quick favor every other day. But their impact is profound. They steal the very substance of life itself. Seneca said it best, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Psychologists estimate the average person loses 2 to 3 hours per day to distractions and unplanned interruptions. Over a lifetime, that's nearly 10 years of stolen time. Unlike money, once time is gone, it never returns. Marcus Aurelius urged, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." Time vampires thrive on your lack of boundaries. They feed on your inability to say no. So how do we defend against them? The Stoics would tell us, with discipline, clarity, and courage. Guard your calendar. Treat your time as sacred. Block deep work hours as if they were royal appointments. Practice methods that build focus, like the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of concentrated work, followed by 5 minutes of rest. This rhythm creates urgency and shields against distractions. Choose your company carefully. Epictetus warned, The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you. That means limiting idle conversations with those who drain your energy. And above all, master the art of refusal. Saying no is not cruelty. It's stewardship of your life. Here's your practice. For 1 week, track your interruptions. Write down every time you were pulled away from meaningful work. At the end of the day, ask yourself, how much of this was aligned with my values and how much was theft? Then design one boundary, a blocked calendar slot, a polite "I can't right now," or a phone set on silent mode, and honor it as if it were a sacred vow. Because life is not short, but wasted life is. The time vampire may not carry fangs, but it takes what is most irreplaceable. So remember, you are the guardian of your hours. Protect them. Use them for wisdom, for virtue, and for the masterpiece only you can create. So, which of these 7 people do you recognize in your own life? And here's the harder question. Which one might you be playing in someone else's story? Stoicism is not just about others. It's about our own transformation. If you found value in this, like this video, subscribe and join me on this journey of Stoic wisdom. May your choices align with virtue, may your actions reflect wisdom, and may your life be the masterpiece you are meant to create.